Hey, um, so video's gonna be strictly about how to embed ADR into an injector. We're gonna be using Gotta Hack Injector made by Brohan. Pretty decent, not bad, not bad. Ray did a great video recently on it on how to work. He walked through the code a little bit. Great video. Watch it you can, but this is not gonna be about any of that. This is strictly about how to slap a DLL inside an EXE and get the EXE to inject the DLL without the DLL actually existing on disk. What does it use? What is it used for? Just think about it. Best way to distribute your cheat is to send them one EXE. The EXE inject the DLL. They don't have to have download two files. They don't have to set up the arguments. They don't have to tick the exact thing you want them to. They can't fucked up. Alright, so first step, we're gonna have to download the source code. Brian got the commented and so what was I talking about? No clue. Okay, you're just gonna grab the injector download, just download it, gonna drag, drop, decent, open it. So the first thing we're gonna do, like complete the first thing, we're gonna go into this injector RC, right? This is our resource file. It's gonna tell you all of the resources that are included. This is basically where we're gonna be uh, including your icon, which generate right here and things like that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna embed our. We're gonna tell the compiler to include our DLL when it compiles. So we're gonna name it IDR. Uh, Basically, it's following this MSDN right here. You're gonna name, you're gonna have a type, and you're gonna be the file. So we're gonna name it. It is gonna be IDR rake. Okay. We are the type is gonna be Broyhan, and the file. If the file is in the same directory as the source, and when you compile it, that you can just slap in the file name. But for me, the file is gonna be in a different directory, so I'm just gonna include the full path right there. That should work. Okay. So you can also take out the icons because you can claim this is your injector now. Like what? Why? Why would you tell them that? Why would you have got a hacking on it? Okay, so that should work. Okay, now that you save that, close that, open up the source, main. That's gonna be your first thing. What's the first things that you're gonna do? First thing you're gonna do is you are going to drop a system pause right here. Why? Because this thing doesn't have a goddamn GUI. You can't even print out this shit. You would have to like message box it or whatever, or open a console. That's too much work. So you gotta do this. You also going to need to download Process Explorer. You just make it easier for us to look at the arguments later on when this thing get run. Okay, now we have sauce. We have that. Pause it. Now we're just gonna compile it. Do not compile debug. Compile as release so that it will generate us the file name convention that we need to replace our legit code. Alright, so this is exactly the same thing. The thing is gonna pause right when it starts instead of actually injecting. And this is our injector. We're gonna select the argument we want. We're gonna slap in the file we want. Blah blah blah. Select menu mapping. This is not gonna go over this. And this also just gonna look into menu mapping. We're not gonna look into load and loader, load DLL. We don't really care about that. We're just gonna do menu mapping. It's gonna be the same thing. You can tweak a little bit, and load and load DLL will work. But for my cheat, I use menu mapping. So, you know. Alright, I'm just gonna slap auto on too. So, actually, let's not. Alright, we're gonna start the game and we're gonna click inject. Okay, that's it. Inject it. What happened? Nothing happened. Why? Because there's no GUI, so you don't even know if the thing started or not. But if you look right here, you see that this thing's right here. It's right there. Okay, got an injector. 64.exe actually got started. That's the argument. You want to see the argument, you have to go up here, select column, command line. Okay, toggle that, you see this. Okay, so I will save you some trouble. I made like a text document showing the arguments. Okay, like this, we can close this for now. look at the argument. It goes exe. It's injector. Always the first one gonna be the name of the file that's being called, the path to it. And then you got slash p, and then you got number for this is 1224. That's I'm assuming the PID. We know that slash f, right, right here, and then you can see the path slash m2045 slash l0. I rename all this. We don't really care. But this is where you're gonna copy down the arguments that you want to hard code into the cheat, into the injector. We can close that now. We don't really care about that anymore. Okay, this is our source. Let's look. DLL. We're gonna take this out. We're also gonna take this out because this is gonna scream at us if we have less than 5 argument count. We're not gonna have any because we're just gonna start it. We're gonna hardcode our arguments. So we also don't want this. We don't care. Okay, now we're gonna look at this to see what these mean. P, that's gonna set our PID. F, that's gonna be our file name, right? DLL path. M, that's gonna set our injection method. O, that's gonna set our flags. And L is gonna set our launch method. Okay, so PID. We can hardcode 1224, but that's not gonna work because every time the process starts, it's gonna have a completely different PID. We will have to do something about that later. Flag is O. So O is 45. So flag is 45. Injector method. Injector method is M right here. M, that's 2. And launch method, which is L right here. Launch method right here is L, which is 0. It's already 0. So we basically just did all these manually. There we go. So now we have a few problems. Okay, this thing is not gonna know the PID, so we have to write functions that basically get us the PID of the process that we want. I already got one up here. We're gonna first dword PID. Yep, set it equal to 0. I can't type. And then here's a function. Basically, you slap in a proc name, process name, and if you find that, go into the snapshot, you walk through all the process. If it find it, it's just gonna set the PID. You know, and this is technically global, so it's, we can access in here. So this PID gonna get changed. So what we're gonna do? Gonna be while, not PID. So while PID is not valid, while it's empty or 0 or whatever, yeah, 0 right here, which you already set up there. So why are we doing this again? There we go. While PD is empty, we are going to get proc. We're gonna keep looking for black desert, and this way you're gonna put in your, process name, and then we're gonna sleep 100. So do this 10 times a second. Look for black desert exe. If you can't find it, keep looking. If you can find it, keep then break out the while loop and start the injection thingy. All right, looks good to me. Okay, so next things, we kind of want to know when it's injecting, so we may just slap something in here like injecting. Just gonna print out injecting and we're injecting. Cool. And then it's gonna do all this magic. Gonna check if PID is valid. If it is, open up a handle to the process and then call this function, which is in injector right here. Okay, so what does this do? This basically do all of this, check if the file exists or not, blah, 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 blah. Well, check if the file path is set. And it's gonna see what kind of injector method. We're gonna code manual map, so technically we don't really need this. So we know what all we call this. So let's go down the manual map. Okay, manual map taking all this variable. First thing you're gonna do is check if the process handle is valid. Okay, we may need that, but this can checking if the file exists or not. We don't really care if the file exists or not. We don't use a file. We're using resource, so it's gonna fail. This is just throwing error. This is getting off the DLL path, so we don't need any of that. Like I said, we're not using it on this file. How about this? Yeah, how about this? What's this doing? Let's open up the file. It's gonna walk through the file and it's gonna copy the size and the byte of the files. Alright, it's just gonna keep walking through, it's gonna read the file, it's gonna copy the data of the file and the size of the file. we're gonna replace all of this. Okie dokie. So to read a embedded or included resource, we actually gonna need to write functions of our own. Okay, and these functions we're gonna write right here. It's gonna be called. It's gonna be a void, sure. Load file in resource, and we're gonna take in a not handle. We're gonna take in a name. So I'm gonna take in a type, which we did set earlier. Is the breaks gay and Broyhan whatever. We are going to return a size, and we also going to return a constant char of data. Okay, so first thing first, we're gonna get the handle of our process. Module get module handle. So I decided not to type that out, just to make life easier. We're just gonna get a handle on our current process. You find the resource with the name of the resource and the type. And this is just find resource, right? Pass in handle, type, name, and and then we can load resource with that new handle. Well, not handle, whatever this type is, and we can get the data. And then we're going to also get the size of the data down here and lock resource, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, not gonna explain that. This is gonna return us the size of the DLL, size resource and the data, which is the byte inside the resource. Now down in the menu mapping right here, we gotta call that function. Okay, so what is the very first thing we need to do? We need to declare a size. It's just gonna say 0 for now. We're gonna load this with the return value, and this is gonna be the byte that we're gonna be returned. That is not D word. That is D word. All right, now we're gonna call that in resource. It's going to need to take in a rake. Okay, and now this is Broyhan, I think. I need this. Rename this Broyhan, and it's gonna be the size, and it's gonna be the data. All right. It's gonna skim us. What the fuck is this and what is this? Alright, if you remember earlier, we declared this in our injector up here. Right? We declare right here and right here. Right? So this is in our resource, but we also have to declare this in a header. Alright, and right here we're gonna define the two things that we saw earlier. We're gonna define our Broyhan. I'm just gonna give it the ID of 256, and we're gonna give it define IDR. Uh, I'm just gonna get these are basically right here. It's gonna say your name is gonna be a unique 16 bits, and type is also have to be a unique 15 bits. But for the type, gotta be greater than 255. That's why we name it 256, right? You throw 255 in here, it's not gonna work. It's literally just unique unsigned integer. Doesn't really matter what it is. Anything under 255 is reserved for other stuff. Okay, so now that we define that in our resource, we're going to have to include it because it's not included. Include resource. And this down here should be happy, wherever that is, menu mapping. Alright, right here, that should be completely happy. But the injector, the function originally doesn't really use size and data. It uses this, which is the actual data, and it's figure out a size somewhere down here. I forgot where it was, but we are going to have to copy our data that we get back from the resource, from the function, the load resource function, into here. So pretty much first thing we will have to do is we're gonna have to source data. It's gonna have set it to a we're gonna make this. Oops, I can't type today. We're gonna also have to static cast it. into on in pointer, and that is gonna be our size. We're gonna basically prepare this to be the size of whatever our data is, right? Just so it can fit. And then you would just mem copy that. This is gonna be our destination. This is gonna be our source, which is our data, and this is how much we want to copy, which is gonna be our size. If everything goes well, mem data should be the same as the resource that we loaded in our note right here, and everything should work. One thing, however, it's gonna scream at us because we are not using this, right? This is just we're not actually using this, so we can actually delete it. Just yeah, with that, we're just gonna confirm everything. We're just gonna compile, and hopefully something's wrong. Oh yeah, what were we doing? Forgot completely about that. We were removing this argument that pass into menu map since we're actually not using the file. So we just have to go around and delete a few things just to like clean it up, make the program happy. Now we're gonna compile it. Hopefully it'll work. Okay, it worked. Gonna open Injector, release. We're gonna run this. It's waiting for the game to start. We're gonna start this. Boom. Error. That was a 002 error, and that means it say the file doesn't exist, which we know is true. So somewhere we left the code that basically say the file doesn't exist. Oh, I know what it is. We are passing this into here. We're just gonna have to, yeah, we're just gonna pass into here. The file doesn't exist happen up here where right here. If this is null, it would return that. Alright, let's do that again. Should work. Grantee. Oh my god. Okay, let's start this. Injecting 800C. What is that? That is can't open process. So yeah, there's a anti-cheat for Black Desert that is running. So sometime we lose the race. There we go. Look like inject worked this time. Yeah, sometimes the process get protected too quickly, but that was really quick, so I don't really know what happened. And game start normally looks good. You know what I think that was? That was probably the previous Black Desert still running in the background. And voila, here we go. We got a hack up and working from that, not this. So that is how you do it. And now from now on, you can send this to anybody and it would be fine. If you notice the different in file size, for this one, it is broken. But if you download like Broyhan Injector up here, the file is actually only about 75 kilobytes. Alright, you just slap in here, it is only about 74, 75 kilobytes, but this is 600. So it's basically have our cheat embedded inside. It's about 586, you know, when you do the math, 586 plus 74, 660, something like that, but you know, magics. So that's how you do it. Looks good. Thanks for